Mother lovers, how you guys doing? I'm very excited today because I will show you the best time-lapse we have created so far of my painting Shiva with elephants. It's also one of the largest paintings I've ever done, and it took me 2 years to finish it. And in that time I went through the hardest heartbreak of my life, and I had to do some serious soul searching. And it changed me as a human being. And I will tell you stories and adventures as we go through this time-lapse, and you will see that the original version of the painting has also changed so many times as I've evolved. I'm excited to share this with you. Let's dive straight into it. Peace.
Well, I don't always begin with a sip of a beer, but in this case I did. But I always do begin with covering the white canvas by shades of colors. I'm one of those artists who is completely stressed out by white background. I cannot just do contours of objects and start coloring them. I have to conquer the white canvas first. So in a case of canvas of this size, 8 by 6 feet, I use rags and large brushes to just cover it up as fast as possible, because I'm inspired and I'm impatient to begin. And inspiration comes to me in 2 different ways. One of them is a download in meditation. It's like a vision that I get with big clarity. I can see something in my head. It just hits me like a lightning from the clear sky. And sometimes I put down the details on a piece of paper so I don't forget. And the second way is just a rough idea that I receive, and I have no idea of any details, and it's revealed to me step by step. It's like walking through a forest in a misty day, and I just see the one step ahead of me. I don't see all the way in front of me, and as I take the next step is revealed to me. And in this case I just knew that what I want to paint is Lord of the Forest, a strong figure standing at the beginning of his kingdom, holding a magician's staff, some sorts of Merlin, and on the left side, standing next to him, would be a wolf, an animal. And the first secret I'll tell you today is that I quite often pose for myself, which might look funny if there was a hidden camera in my studio and I get naked and I put myself into all sorts of positions, but it's not because of any sort of self-obsession, but because I just don't have people who would pose for me. So it's out of necessity. One of those dirty artist secrets. And as you can see, I quite often talk on the phone when I'm painting, which might surprise some people, but it actually helps me, because it disconnects the left logical hemisphere that is focused on the talking from the right artistic hemisphere of the brain, which is connected to my right hand and goes into automatic mode. And I'm not really thinking because my mind is focused on the talking. And now here you can see that the Lord of the Forest had to go. Not the first, not the last. He looked too serious and too intense. So I continued working on the light. That's why I love oil painting so much, because the transparency of different pigments gives me the option to create the illusion of depth. And I don't think there is any other medium to convey this beautiful light like oil painting. And one rule that I learned from painting is that you do not stop painting when you don't know where it's gonna go. You just continue working on the details that you can work on. What happened eventually is that the girl who I thought was the love of my life landed on my canvas as the next central theme. I was in love with her, and she posed for me, and she was going to represent the forest queen, the forest fee, not protecting, but inviting the stranded traveler into her realm. And I was very much in love with her. We were together for a long time, and that's why the painting at this point progressed so fast. Human being who is in love is an inspired human being. And I kept on working on the light, while falling through the canopy of the trees, on the details of her body, and on the mystical kingdom or realm behind her. I was convinced that this was the last version of the painting. Little did I know what life is gonna serve us, as we never really know. And obviously what happened was unexpected, and we broke up. And it broke my heart. It was in a very difficult place, and she was hanging from my wall, looking down at my wretched self. First couple of months, I realized that I can't stand this. I'm never gonna heal if she's gonna be there. So I had to cover her up as well. And what came in her place came out of a place of deep sadness inside of me. And although I didn't know it back then, the mother elephant in the middle of my canvas, she wasn't a very happy animal. She was majestic, she was beautiful, but she wasn't very happy, although she had a little elephant calf next to her. Yet I didn't know that she's not the final version of the painting, and I continued putting the animals in there, water buffaloes, the father elephant, keeping them all safe, and the never-ending work on the trees. It's just on a canvas of this size, it's just never ending. The details on the mother, again using the sandpaper in between the layers to achieve greater level of details. And this was by the end of 2019, when I finally started to reach some point of healing, and I recognized the sadness in her and the fact that she has to go. So I changed the river to a lake. I kept the father elephant, and I started putting more of a playful theme of elephants playing in the water. This was just before the pandemic hit, and little did I know that I'm going to leave Canada and exile in Maui. And when I came back in summer 2020, oh god, I was a different human. I was in a much better place. I stepped into my own personal power, and it wasn't a great surprise when Shiva, this powerful deity, landed on my canvas as the final theme. As you can see, I also grew my hair, so much changed, and I started creating this mystical symbols and pillars to place him in more appropriate environment, painting all these sacred symbols on those pillars. And truly this was the most joyful part, putting all those animals, and painting was coming alive so fast. I was giving it many hours every day, and the big opening in the middle of his heart was what made it quite unique in my opinion, because there was two sources of light in that painting. One coming from above, from the divine falling through the trees, and the second one pouring, streaming through his heart. The rainbow just unified it, and I put fragments, shards of light, like shards of divine consciousness in that light, and eventually embedded it with 24 karat gold and 3 hummingbirds, messengers of good news, coming out of that divine, beautiful, unconditionally loving heart. And I hope this will also touch your heart. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay blessed.